Time to bring in our panel to discuss Nvidia. Nvidia, 1 year up 47%, has been jumping, got as high as 184 recently. Want to look at the broad tech sector too. John Belton, portfolio manager at Gabelli Funds, and Bob Lang, president and chief options strategist of Explosive Options. So when we look at this, John, some of your thoughts here, big picture on what's going on with Nvidia. I mean, we know Intel's had a great story, but the hot chip stocks are definitely roaring ahead. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say, thanks, Nicole. I think over the last couple weeks, couple months, maybe, I would actually say the market's, appetite for AI stocks has started to cool a little bit, despite what has been really positive overall news and I think what has been really positive momentum in company fundamentals. So I think the market's become a little bit apprehensive about the scale of some of these investment programs, particularly those laid out by OpenAI over the last couple of weeks. So NVIDIA's kind of got caught up in that, where the dynamic right now is the fundamentals are extremely strong, beating expectations, getting even stronger, but the stock has sort of not moved much, particularly relative to the rest of the market.
I mean, it can be choppy. It has had an incredible run up. Does it take a pause? Is it sort of a little bit of a, not quite a back and fill, but just sort of stay here, get a plateau, and then take off further? What are your thoughts, Bob?
I agree with that. I agree with John as well, too, that the stock is probably tired out a little bit here. But I would tell you this, is that this deal that they made with OpenAI is very intriguing, very interesting. And this is something that Nvidia has had a habit of doing. They did a deal with some large companies, OpenAI as well, too, back in 2022. And that was a huge boom for them when AI started really to take off. But I think what John was saying is correct about the stock. People are really kind of getting a little bit stuffed with too much Nvidia in their portfolios. Now, here we are at the end of the quarter. Tomorrow is the last trading day of September. It's the last day of the third quarter, and I think we're seeing a lot of window dressing going on today and probably tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens later next month. Of course, earnings for Nvidia won't be coming out until around Thanksgiving, just before. And we'll have a lot of companies out there talking about AI and how many chips they're buying from Nvidia, and that could certainly be a catalyst or a driver for the stock to move higher.
I mean, when we think about the spend and the deal that they've made here with OpenAI, investing $100 billion, at first it seemed like great news and people were so excited about more CapEx spending, and it just meant like everything was flowing and there was so much liquidity and so many high hopes. And then people started to say, where's the real monetization of AI? And that the numbers are really going to start to matter. The sort of the idea here that people can turn a blind eye to all the spending but not getting the return on the investment. That's the concern here, John. Like, at what point do investors get frustrated, not only with Nvidia, but for all of these big hyperscalers spending on AI? Where does the return come?
Yeah, I think I'd make 2 points here. First of all, I think this is something the market, many in the market have wrong. I think, where are the returns on AI? I think in many cases, particularly in the largest use cases today, the returns are already there. Look at digital media companies, digital advertising and e-commerce using AI for recommendation systems, for ad targeting, even now for ad creation, or ad content creation. Those are the biggest spenders on AI, earning big returns in the form of market share gains in digital advertising, as an example. Also, cloud infrastructure services, the big cloud infrastructure platforms leasing AI infrastructure to enterprises who are using AI to become more productive, to become more efficient. We heard the CEO of Walmart make a bunch of really bullish comments on that front last week. So point is, I think, by and large, the biggest spenders on AI infrastructure today are earning significant returns on their investment to begin with. The second point I'd make, as the market has become, as you referenced, a little bit maybe apprehensive about this relationship between OpenAI and Nvidia, the one thing that is clear from what Jensen Huang has told the market, that deal is fully incremental to what's already in Nvidia's revenue base today. And I think that Jensen was on a podcast over the weekend suggesting that deal alone, that could be a $300 to $400 billion revenue opportunity for Nvidia. That's incremental to the business today. So the market doesn't have to capitalize those earnings, but it's incremental, so it shouldn't come with negative value.
I want to hear what best positioned tech stocks that you like. If you could name some names just really quickly. Bob, what names do you like?
I really like CoreWeave here, Nicole and John. And CoreWeave is one that, NVIDIA's got an investment in the name, 7%. The only risk that I see with CoreWeave right now is the fact that they have a lot of concentration with their revenue and their earnings in just a couple of companies. Microsoft and Nvidia, I think, are responsible for about 70 to 75% of their revenue. So I think CoreWeave eventually is going to have to broaden out and have more customers and newer customers. I think they landed a huge deal last week for about $6 billion. And we're going to need to see more of those deals happen for CoreWeave to start moving. But that's probably one of my most favorite names in the AI space and data center space. And I think, when you look on the periphery, I think looking at some of these energy names, Oklo is certainly one that's had my attention for a while now. Its stock's driven up almost 75-80% in about 3.5 weeks, Nicole. And again, this is another name that's there's going to be a need for power for AI energy for years to come. And this is one of those smaller names that's on the cusp of doing some big things.
Thank you both. John Belton, Bob Lang, it's great to see you. Really appreciate both of you here today. The points you have made, they were taken. John Bolton and Bob Lang, thank you.